The world laughed when the wealthy CEO pointed at the pile of broken motors and said, "Good luck fixing that trash." But nobody knew that those 6 rust-covered machines were about to become the foundation of something that would change thousands of lives forever. Nobody saw the exhausted single father standing there with empty pockets, a broken heart, and a dream he refused to bury. Before we begin this incredible journey, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of never giving up, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Beyond Single Dad. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories like this to life. The man standing in that massive factory was named Caleb Voss, a 38-year-old father who had spent most of his life working with machines. He was not a businessman. He was not rich. He was just a man trying to survive after life took almost everything from him. Years earlier, Caleb had lost his wife, Marina, after a long illness. Suddenly, he became a father, a mother, and a provider for his young daughter Isla. Every morning before sunrise, Caleb would leave their small apartment and work repairing industrial equipment. Every night, he would come home covered in grease, tired but smiling, because Isla was waiting at the door with a hug. But life became harder when the factory where Caleb worked shut down. Hundreds of workers lost their jobs, and Caleb found himself searching everywhere for work. Bills piled up. His savings disappeared. Some nights, he skipped dinner so his daughter could have enough food. Still, Caleb never allowed Isla to see him give up. He always told her, "Machines break, people break, but broken things can still be rebuilt." Those words became the only thing keeping him alive. One day, Caleb heard about a famous technology company looking for someone to repair old industrial motors. The company belonged to one of the richest CEOs in the country, Victor Halden, a man known for creating billion-dollar inventions but also known for having little patience for failure. Caleb walked into the company's headquarters wearing an old jacket and carrying a toolbox that had been repaired more times than he could remember. The employees looked at him and immediately judged him. They saw a struggling mechanic, not someone with a vision. Victor looked at Caleb's application and laughed. "You think you can save machines that our engineers already gave up on?" Victor asked. Caleb calmly replied, "Sometimes the problem is not the machine. Sometimes people stop looking because they assume it's impossible." Victor smiled sarcastically. Instead of giving Caleb a job, he decided to make a joke in front of everyone. He took him outside to a storage area behind the factory. There, covered in dust, oil, and rust, were 6 completely broken industrial motors that had been thrown away years ago. Victor pointed at them and said, "Take these. If you can make something useful out of this garbage, maybe I'll believe you have talent." The employees laughed. Everyone thought Caleb had been humiliated. But Caleb did not see trash. He saw possibility. That night, while the city slept, Caleb worked inside a tiny rented garage. The 6 broken motors sat in front of him like forgotten dreams. He opened each one piece by piece. Some parts were damaged beyond repair. Some were outdated. Some looked completely hopeless. For weeks, Caleb worked alone. He struggled with broken tools, limited money, and the pressure of being a father. There were moments when he wanted to quit. Moments when he stared at the machines and wondered if everyone was right. Then Isla walked into the garage one evening and saw her father exhausted on the floor. "Daddy, are you fixing those because they're broken?" she asked. Caleb smiled and said, "Yes." She looked at the motors and said, "Then maybe they just need someone who believes in them." Those simple words gave Caleb the strength to continue. Instead of trying to rebuild the motors exactly as they were, Caleb studied why they failed. He noticed problems that other engineers ignored. He created a new design using recycled parts, improved energy efficiency, and made the motors easier to maintain. After months of sleepless nights, something unbelievable happened. The first motor turned on. The sound echoed through the garage. Caleb stood frozen. A machine everyone called useless was alive again. He recorded the results and sent them to Victor Halden. At first, Victor ignored the message. But when his engineers tested the motor, they discovered something shocking. Caleb's design was not just a repair. It was an improvement. His rebuilt motor used less energy, lasted longer, and reduced maintenance costs dramatically. The same CEO who laughed at him now wanted to meet him. Victor arrived at Caleb's garage expecting to see a lucky accident. Instead, he found a small workspace filled with inventions, drawings, and determination. Victor looked at the 6 motors and quietly said, "You didn't fix broken machines. You created something new." Caleb simply replied, "I just gave them another chance." That sentence stayed with Victor. Within months, Caleb and Victor partnered together to create a company focused on rebuilding and improving industrial technology. What started with 6 abandoned motors became a movement. Factories around the world wanted Caleb's designs. Investors who once ignored him now wanted to work with him. The single father who struggled to pay for groceries became the founder of a company valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. But the money was never the thing that mattered most to Caleb. He used his success to create training programs for people who had lost their jobs, helping thousands of workers learn new skills and rebuild their lives. Years later, Caleb returned to the same factory where Victor had given him those 6 broken motors. He placed one of the original machines in a glass display. A plaque underneath it read, "Everything deserves a second chance." Caleb stood there with Isla, now older, and remembered the nights when he had nothing except hope. The world thought those motors were worthless. But Caleb knew something they didn't. Sometimes the things everyone throws away are the very things waiting for someone brave enough to believe in them. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Beyond Single Dad. Your support helps these emotional stories reach more people who need a reminder that one person's kindness and determination can change the world. Before the story ends, comment, "Second chances can change everything," if you believe every person and every dream deserves an opportunity. Because sometimes the greatest empires are not built from money, power, or luck. Sometimes they are built from broken pieces, a father's love, and the courage to try one more time.